face, but you play me like a clown and you fool bitch. So just step back, or I'm mad that when I come down straight. I thought you were my piece, but you play me out. Now I'm mad as hell, and I'm full of doubt. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly less resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises all the time. Don't cross the line, but you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Double time, get something in your rear. 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 Double time, get something in your rear.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
All right. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hold on. Let me fix the echo, which there is none, but there will be. There it is. We are live on Thursday at the Mad Hatter Dispensary, and we got some bad news at the car show here. The car show has been postponed till next week. Next week, because of the weather, it's going to rain on Sunday. So I know we announced last week on the podcast there is a car show. There is a car show. It's postponed until next week. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend, just so you know. And I'm going to make that announcement again later for anyone who didn't hear about it, because I just found out myself just now. So, yeah, that's some big news right there. So make sure you mark that on your calendar, because the car show is going to be huge. There's a story here about cannabis losing favor by some guy named Matt Poling. And it's an opinion piece. And it says here, it starts off, a recent study of dead drivers in an Ohio county found that 42% were positive for THC. Well, first of all, THC can be in your system for up to a month after you use it. So, first of all, you got a problem there. Second of all, were they drunk? Were they using alcohol along with cannabis? Because a lot of times they skew those stats real easy. They love to take numbers and twist them. So, yeah, that might be a true number. However, those people were actually drunk as well. So, add that to the mix. Attention was given to a global study released last week on life expectancy, showing teens and young adults in Western countries are dying at higher rates, driven largely by suicides and substance use. And that, of course, includes alcohol, but cannabis use is also associated with more alcohol consumption. Wait. Cannabis use is associated with more alcohol consumption. maybe on people that are addicted to everything. Like there's people that are addicted to like whatever, to sex, to food, you name it. There's like it's a percentage of people, like 10% of all you crazy people out there are going to be addicted to something. So yeah, as you're going through your addictions, you may find yourself using cannabis, and then you go to alcohol and all these other things. Cannabis is the least dangerous of all these things you'll be putting into your body as you're going through your addiction. And cannabis will be there when you're coming off those drugs like alcohol and fentanyl and oxycodone. Cannabis will be there for you when you come off those drugs to help ease your detox, which is what it did for me. I got off 10 years worth of opiates from using opiates by using cannabis. I couldn't have got off opiates any other way than by using cannabis. So this story really scares me. Here, this is great. Nearly every civilization in history has evolved with people using some sort of alcohol. No civilization has ever experimented with the types of industrialized THC products that Western countries are now recklessly legalizing, commercializing, and normalizing. Now wait a minute. Stop right there. Cannabis has been around for over 10,000 years. They've had THC for 10,000 years. There's a reason why they use cannabis for 10,000 years. It's helpful for many things. Jim's going to love this story.
I am.
Jimila.
Lefty Grimes. What story am I going to love? I'm loving a lot of stories I've heard in the last 24 hours. Give me another. What do you got?
Teens and young adults in Western countries are dying at higher rates, driven largely by suicides and substance use.
I don't like that.
That, of course, includes alcohol, but cannabis use is actually associated with more alcohol consumption. Cannabis users are 5 times more likely to become alcoholics. Up to 40% of cannabis users use daily, and up to 30% meet criteria for addiction, both far higher percentages than for drinkers. Using alcohol to excuse marijuana use or legalization is simply an exercise in lazy whataboutism. Okay. This is good. Nearly every civilization in history has evolved with people using some form of alcohol. No civilization has ever experimented with the types of industrialized THC products that Western countries are now recklessly legalizing, commercializing, and normalizing.
Who is this attributed to, what you're reading to me?
It's from The Hill, and it's a guy named Matt Pauling.
The Hill, the Washington, D.C. Specialty.
TheHill.com. TheHill.com.
Yeah, Westler.com. The Hill is really, that's delivered to every legislator's office. It comes out twice a week, and it's one of the 2 official things that get delivered to all legislative offices. So, they're I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, that'd be kind of fun to delve into, because whatever they say has some like kernel of truth enough to begin that direction, and then they just go straight through it without connecting dots, therefore. Yeah, it's the same logic that said that you had an 80% better chance of using hard drugs if you smoke marijuana even once, which, that was it. Well, that's because people that use hard drugs almost all smoke cannabis first. Well, people that smoke cannabis almost all used alcohol first. So, you throw that into what you just read, and it sounds different,
Well, it says THC strongly induces suicidality, even in patients who were not depressed to begin with. State legalization has led to sharp increases in youth suicides. Up to 30% of schizophrenia cases in young men are attributable to THC and now responsible for uncounted numbers of mass shootings. Robin Westman of Minneapolis wrote, "Weed messed up my head, and if I could stop vaping, I could stop myself from doing this attack," in his manifesto.
Well, that's not cause and effect, you know. What's up, Sue?
Hi, Sue.
I
Marijuana is also causing the same cancers as tobacco, dramatic increases in heart attacks, strokes, and quadrupling diabetes rates.
That's not true.
I know, we know that, but this is what's in the Hill .com, which is the Washington, D.C., unless they stole that name and it's not the same, The Hill publication.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's the one, like I was saying, that is delivered, the publication, the hard copy is delivered to all legislative offices. I believe it's twice a week. I remember The Hill really was kind of funny that Bob Barr was paid a visit by some of the people who, Students for Sensible Drug Policy, that backed up Cheryl and me and Jackie and Gary when we went to Bob Barr's office, and where I was arrested and everything. So like they went back, students from George Washington University, they went back into Bob Barr's office, about 5 or 6 of them, which is everybody that was there with the "Stop Arresting Patients" signs and all. So they went back in, but they were just students from GYU. Of course, they didn't say that they were there 2 days earlier in the doorway holding up these signs. And Bob Barr was like, "Oh, what can I do for you? I'm glad you stopped by. Students at George Washington, GWU, that's really good, And he was like having a great talk with them. And somebody in the office was reading a copy of The Hill and looked up, and because The Hill had it was like half a page picture. It was the largest picture in that edition of The Hill. And the guy who was reading it, and he came and he kind of put that down where Bob Barr could see it, and he ushered him from the office. And I thought it was just kind of funny, But so anyway, but then, hell with them. If they're going to write, and then, they got to write. I mean, that doesn't come with any citations at all, 30%, 40%, 80%, so, but it's, I can't see it having any effect or being cited by anybody else, so.
Matt Poling is a physician, medical director for Citizens for a Safe and Healthy Texas.
Well, that's not about safety or health. Anybody that puts that, in their title,
They're a little weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what you would think. It's not really about safety.
I pulled up 2 things today. I've been following what they're gonna do with the medical education for physicians. If they're really going to bring this to Schedule 3, which I don't know. I just don't have any good feeling about any of this.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good article, though. I've been pulling it up really for my husband. I'm trying to see there was something in there that caught my eye. Millions of patients now regularly use medical cannabis, yet our medical curricula still largely ignores it. Yeah, we know that already. Okay, so, all right. This is all from the ACP. I don't see anything in here that we don't already know. And then what I did too? I also pulled the old bill from last year. That was I don't know, co-sponsored, introduced, whatever, for home grow.
For home grow for adults, patients, or both?
Yeah, for patients.
3420. what his last sessions.
3420.
Yeah, that would be the second.
Yeah,
That'd
yeah.
be the first full session. That was the first full session.
Yeah.
It was 324, 3420, and 1393.
Yeah.
See, Lefty, I used to give pop quizzes back in the day. I'd say, you have to know the number of a bill without thinking and saying, it puts people under hills, and I'd give Wayne.
And you got over yourself now?
No. It's like now there's more bills, and even I don't have all the names. I really do try to remember.
This is the one that was introduced last January. Let's see. Where's the number on it? Yeah, this is the one that they were, I guess, trying to move forward or claim they were going to move forward. They probably just copied it off someone else's because it says the same thing that like I had in, during the my New York joint. It's exactly the same. There's nothing different. So there really is no reason now that we have a new governor and we know that she could override, because Lefty and I were looking at that this morning. Okay. So this one is the one that says age 21 or older may grow or possess up to 6 plants for personal use, with a maximum of 12 plants per household. So that means just only 2 people could be sick. All right, that's okay though.
Is that that's different numbers? Which bill is that? What's the number of that? Is that what's going to be reintroduced, or?
Yeah, this is the one that's supposedly being reintroduced. Legalizes growing or possessing up to 6.
Yeah, that was there was one that was 6 for adults and 10
6 for personal,
patient, and 10 for patient.
6 for personal, and then up to 10 plants for personal medical use by persons aged 21 or older. Yeah, partisan.
Yeah, that's the one, and I like that there is 3. There's one for adults only, and not obviously patients that are over 21. It would be okay for them too, and then one for patients only, and then one for both. And that they have different numbers. That's cool. It's like because any one of them would do some good, but it's not going to be just adults and not patients. So it'll come maybe 2 at a time. And I could see that kind of like, instead of going through everything twice for adults and patients,
just do it in one. Yeah, that's
the legislators would be saying it's going to be the same fight with 2 different factions. It's going to be the exact same fight. So let's, get what we can. But I do like that there's not just that, because that's what delayed Jake's law was, coupling with the adult legalization bill. And when it couldn't get it done, Jake's law didn't, have any effect. And it took fully 8 or 9 months to uncouple it and get it passed. So, that delay did not help patients. It set them back, and it was because it was coupled. So having it coupled with other options, that's perfect. It should be.
This is pretty well written, because at least, and they also mentioned the designated caregiver.
Yeah, well, that's good, because like a lot of patients, registered patients, as well as those that are not registered patients yet having a physical disability, that would
have caregivers.
Make it, they can have a designated caregiver.
Yeah.
And but designated caregiver for home grow, does that mean that if you're not a caregiver, you can't come in proximity to that plant when you're
no
house?
I think what
anybody could help them grow. Anybody could say, what do you got going here? Okay, here's what you should do. Anybody.
No, it's their whoever the patient is, they have a designated caregiver who is paid by the state, to care, just like you did.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, that. So that would be you. That would be a Jim.
Well, It's going to be interesting, according to what our soon-to-be new governor had to say, that she should not be in favor of the what I call Scutari blockade, or the Sweeney Scutari blockade. That shows how long it's been. I think I'll start calling it that now. Oh, you mean because you remember him way back when, Steve Sweeney? Yeah, he started it to, and our new governor, from everything, governor to be, governor in waiting. Actually, we're the ones waiting. Yeah, she should not be. She should not like that. She should be able to exert whatever influences. Say this isn't right. This is information. The point is that you can stop it if you want from being voted on, but I do not like you stopping the information that's necessary for people coming to, by definition, well-informed opinions. Geez, I said that a lot. That's why I can get through that. That's almost like
you said that very well.
Yeah, well, it's like reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. You can be doing a dozen different things and get it.
Yeah.
How many times I've written that, because it's just as easy as finding it and pasting it. So she's going to have a million things to do. But people say that, and I think, well, then she's going to need extra help, as anybody would in the beginning, because it's not up to her to do all the work. It's up to her to make the decisions based on other people's work. So how can we help you? In other words, what do you need, new governor, to be able to deal with this? So, of course, I've already written it up many different ways, but I'm going to see that there is, at least if I can get it to her attention, somebody else might, a well-written summary of how we got here. I mean, the blockade, and abbreviated, because it's almost defies belief. And I will do it with the references, in other words, so one will be able, I'll copy and paste, the references or whatever you call it. So it can be.
That her first thing is going to be the energy.
Yeah, but her first thing, this isn't even chewing and walking gum. That's her first thing. But the information on her 15th and 30th things can start now. She doesn't have a staff of 50 all working on one thing at a time. So I understand that for sure, but it's often used as an excuse to not even begin something. So the work, let the games begin, but not on the main field right now. We're the practice field. We want to make sure we have it presentable right. It's almost sounds like
buzzing.
What's that?
Was that you buzzing?
Yeah, that was the laundry.
Oh,
it just sounded,
mine makes the same
it sounded
noise.
Like I got buzzed. No, that's the truth.
Nah, mine makes the same noise.
It just sounded like something that would come up when somebody's spreading some bullshit. No, it's just
so why not attempt to do a sit down with our new governor?
Well, no reason not to.
Right?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's nothing ventured, nothing gained, and risk benefit. There's no risk and nothing but benefit. So that should be.
I think we should do that.
Well, I've already been in touch with her handlers during the campaign, but that's where they genuinely do have a lot of other things to do, and they wouldn't be able to get to it. I mean, I understand a lot about how it works. Of course, I am not privy to all the information. I don't think any of us are, unless you've been a legislator. You really don't know what it's like. I mean, I really don't know what it's like. I don't, I learn from people who oversimplify advocacy, the way it kind of offends me sometimes. All you got to do is, no, there is no all you got to do is, and don't tell me it's everybody or none of that or things. And, you haven't asked the right questions. I've asked all the right questions. I just don't have a way to get them to hear. So, I think there probably is a right person to do that. But I would think my addition to this mix would be if I could say, here's a summary of the problem. because I think I can summarize it, keeping the important parts in and not editorializing it all and chopping out all the extra words. Just,
Bullet
what had
points.
happened, what she probably doesn't know, if she knew anything about the home grow bill and then find out it's not been allowed to have a hearing, a patient home grow bill, and that it hasn't had a hearing and hasn't been allowed to have a hearing. She has no idea about that.
I think she's
Right now.
aware. I think she's aware.
I just think she needs, when she becomes aware and it comes in a form that isn't sounding terribly biased, it's going to be just the facts. And I do believe she'll get somebody on it, especially with a quote or something up top prefacing what she said, because what she said says she'd be interested in this. In other words,
She said she supported it.
Yeah, well, I know. See, I'm taking it all the way down to a lower. Exactly. She did way more than what I just said. But I always lowball things when I'm trying to prove a point that there's enough of something. If it's 10,000 as general, I might say 8. Just so when somebody doesn't believe it, I'll go, well, let's go with what this person said, 10. Oh no, let's go with yours, Jim. More to my point. I kind of tamp things down where it's going to be just as successful, as opposed to go for hyperbole or just, So, suck Sweeney. I like that. Yeah.
Blockade. LOL.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like, I won't say what the rest of any of my passwords are, but they all include the word scrutari, SCREWTARI. Because it's just so easy to remember my password. And the others.
Lefty could introduce her to the rat.
Well, why not? He's an award-winning advocate for accessibility and patience and things.
He's quite a stellar fellow.
Dick Cody says so. Yeah, there's a way to weave this together to somebody, when relative newcomer to New Jersey state politics compared to, federal, Mikey Sherrill. But this is going to have everything.
Well, that
should get her attention.
That article that I wrote that I sent you guys to read that I did on Substack.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to weave together Ryan's Law, the MAID Act, and home grow, because it all reflects each other. The MAID Act is already there, so that's that's the law. I have it in my medical proxy, and then Ryan's Law. From what I understand, there is a bill. I couldn't find it. I tried to look for it the little while I had this morning. But there are several states that are promoting it. Now, I'm not sure what that means, for us, because I couldn't find it, and we'll look tomorrow. But I know like South Carolina has it too, but like they're just talking about like patients being able to bring in their own medications, because of course South Carolina doesn't have anything that's
Medical,
really very legal. Yeah. However, if the law does change, if they finally come to a decision with the Department of Justice and the DEA, and they move it to Schedule 3, then the question is going to be, is this going to be according to the state, or is this just going to be, because it'll be federally legal in that aspect?
Yeah.
Then
it's across state lines.
Then it's nationwide. It has nothing to do with state lines anymore.
Yeah.
That just opens it up for
It's
everybody.
going to open up plethora.
It'll open up.
Yeah.
It'll open up every state.
It should.
Ordering online.
Yeah, it should, but doesn't mean it will.
Oh, it will.
Okay, no, but let me. I have.
No, it will.
reference.
It will if it's determined to be medicine under Schedule 3.
Okay,
It will open it up for every
but
state.
the creativity to be used when denying stuff interstate transportation rules is California proudly said, okay, this is all done within California. It's not being transported out of the state. Everything's happening within the state. So you can't apply the Interstate Commerce Act to it. And they came back with, well, actually, the fact that you're not using interstate commerce affects interstate commerce. And that was legally okay for them to use the interstate commerce law. And I thought, that was freaking creative as hell. I didn't believe it got through. So when I'm hearing now it has to be okay to go in, I agree, except for I don't like doing the touchdown dance till it's happening, because I've seen.
Yeah, I know.
I
know. That's why I said I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
but I would agree. There is a lot that I would not want to lose that I would bet if I could on exactly that happening. In other words, if that will lead to interstate commerce not being a problem, and then that alleviates all sorts of stuff, right? I mean, we're not even to banking being able to be done.
Yeah, I know.
And that would allow that even if they didn't deal with that. I can't believe I went to Washington to see a hearing Senator Grassley had about this, and it was fun because I got to see a lot of people at the hearing that I wouldn't otherwise see. It was kind of fun, and he actually,
When was that?
Senator Grassley.
Yeah.
Or when was it? Or
yeah, when did you do that?
Oh, this was like maybe 11 years ago.
I was going to say 10 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, 10, 11 years ago. But what it was is there was 8 points of criteria, and 6 of them I had absolutely no problem with. So, I mean, it was like a hearing that even with Senator Grassley at the head, he was asking the right questions and he was getting the right answers, and he didn't seem overtly predisposed. He was actually like he was finding things out himself. And I left with the indication that this would get things started on that road to having a banking available for cannabis businesses.
Right.
That's kind of what it was all about then. And
they still don't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like
so, I don't know.
Well, I wish. I'm embarrassed by when I left the State House after this had been passed and we knew it would be signed into law. I look back at the State House and my long history with it and said, "See you never again, sucker." And I walked away like it was over.
The volume.
Oh man, I must have had baby fat back then or something. That was, how long ago was that?
That's a long time ago.
That was so like I'm saying is, that was really being naive. And when I thought I knew the score about all sorts of stuff, but then that's a learning experience for me, obviously I still remember it now and I'm still so like I say, I learned from failures more than successes. I think it's
that's how most people learn.
Yeah, it's
Most
nature.
people learn that way.
Well, that's why I try hard to learn from other people's failures and successes, because my level of empathy allows me to do that. I'm already empathetic that something, and I thought, that could be me. And then I swivel head a little more, for things, keep my eyes open. I'd say that's my strong suit, but I didn't get everything I have today by being smart. Yeah. If I could pivot a camera to everything I have today, it would be a pretty funny joke.
Liz, tell us about what you're doing.
Yes.
You were interviewed?
Oh,
first,
Lefty
did you get your hair done?
Lefty didn't introduce her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Liz, lights up.
That's okay.
Liz, lights up. Liz, lights up. There you go.
Did you get your hair done, Sue? Did you get it cut?
No, you know what? It's probably behind my scarf. See? It's here.
So Carrie Accardi, you know Carrie, she actually was a guest on the show too. She put me in contact with this guy, Jason Beck.
Mhm.
He has this High at 9 news, and
You
on the
froze.
East Coast, it's High at Noon news. And she put me, she made the introduction, and he and I had a long talk. And it's basically like one of them Sunday news shows where you have the host, and then you have the correspondents that come in with their opinion and stuff.
Mhm.
So he asked me if it was something I'd be interested in doing, and I like to talk shit, so I said sure. And so I have a spot on Tuesdays. Um, it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast and noon here, and I'll see something, and it's all about cannabis news. I'll find an article, give my opinion, read the article, and then open it up for discussion. And that's what all the correspondents do.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that sounds
Carrie.
like fun.
Yeah, Carrie said, she said, you need exposure, and this is going to get you the exposure you need. So I'm like, okay.
So like, it'll be something like you hadn't heard, or something you get to find out and then give your opinion kind of like on the spot. Because that sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
I
like,
got that right.
something in the news, like what I talked about the other day. Yeah, and what I talked about the other day was Massachusetts trying to get signatures to get the question on the ballot to remove the legal recreational cannabis. And the people that are doing it, there are other people doing it, and what they're doing is they're being very sneaky about it. They don't work for the people that are legitimately doing it, but they're going out and getting signatures, and they're twisting the story around, making it seem like they they're boosting the cannabis bill, the recreational, and this is going to help, and blah blah blah. And they're standing outside grocery stores and things like that, and people that are rushing, that'll just sign and go. And so this is a big problem. They're doing it illegally, and unfortunately there's nothing they can do, because it falls under the Freedom of Speech Act.
Right. Right. I was just going to say, when you said illegally, it's not illegal to do that. They can put
it's
whatever garbage they want out there.
Now, is this for a petition? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
Because for a petition, you're allowed.
Yeah, what she said was Massachusetts wanted recreational
petition to get a question on the 2026 ballot.
So petition gatherers are allowed to pay money for petition signatures. $1 per signature, $2 per signature, which in effect would get people to cut corners and do things not right, or to coerce, which is legal, freedom of speech to a degree. And but then
unethical.
I forget what it was, what proposition, but in the week before the signatures were due, it was $3 a signature. Now, if you think you could go somewhere and get 100 signatures for something, that was real money. And that breeds cutting corners too, though. I'm not saying I'm for or against it, but that also says to me, it's like, well, if somebody had joints, for signing a petition signature in a legal state, would that be legal? And then Chris Alamada, congratulations to him for him being certified the council member of the 3rd Ward, Ward 3.
I sent him a message.
Ward 3,
clean sweep. Everybody won.
Yeah, everyone. And I want to say it like I did the other day to see if I think it went over everybody's head, because it came out so succinct and nice. As I was asking him of the third ward. And then he referred to it as Ward 3. And I said, so what is it, Ward 3 or third ward? He goes, Ward 3. He says, well, I need to know because, like, I need to know the difference between 2 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians, which was making a Donald Trump joke because it called it 2 Corinthians and it's 2 Corinthians as far as I know. Yes, Roman numeral 2 Corinthians. That's the 2 Corinthians. Or our church is getting it wrong and Trump is right. But anyway, I think I threw that over everybody's head. Yeah. So anyway, yes, Ward 3. And yeah, I'm real proud of him. I think he set more of an example than he knows that, yes, all politics is local. And this is as local as you get.
He's a pioneer.
Council, yeah. And we're not talking, see, while I did get 2,038 votes to be a senator, it takes sometimes a couple of hundred votes to become a member of the town council. So if all politics is local, that's a great place to begin. And I just think it's really fitting that he's not just a cannabis consumer, that he gets other cannabis consumers together and they go out and do cleanups in Dover, where the township doesn't, and they coordinate with the Department of whatever department with the township for the trash collections. I don't know what the
Department of Public Works.
Department of Public Works, to be working with them, and then now wearing the vests Lefty. Is it the same vests type that they wear, the Department of Public Works, that now Chris and the others wear while they're doing cleanups?
They're customized with all the vendors. They're like a NASCAR suit.
Yeah, so it's
all the vendors. It's great.
Yeah, it's sponsored.
That's good. Yeah. So it's really good if you got them and the volunteers that show up to burn up while they clean up. They,
he's
to have them ready, and here, put this on. Here, put this on. That's it's just smart. He's got he's got good field vision.
He has put his money where his mouth is,
and his effort,
and he's showing up.
Yeah.
And he's here. Let me show you how it's done. Hold my joint, and he's showing us how it's done, and how positive his feedback and everything he's getting. He's getting those sponsors to get those vests.
Yeah.
He's getting the weed for the people. He's got the township involved, and it's really it's a remarkable thing what he's doing. And I honestly think as he gets a little more known, I think you're going to see this happening in other communities.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to segue to if you hadn't said it, that what it really needs is a second cleanup, one. And, it'd be like if Councilman Almada, I like saying that, if Councilman Almada decided to take a fact-finding tour there and go to where somebody else wanted to do that. And, it's sort of like to go there and represent one time himself to get it sort of started. And then not like he would have to do that again. It's sort of like, yes, put his stamp of approval on it. It is a good idea because, this all started with this next mile maintained by whoever on interstate highways and stuff. So that got credit for that, but to be physically out there and
absolutely. And what was the other thing I was going to say about it? I have no idea.
Well, you're sitting amongst people that totally understand.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. It also helps break the stigma of, the lazy potheads, and
you froze for a second.
It shows that, you know what, there's no difference.
Yeah, and this is what we do on Thanksgiving. We show up in Trenton for the residents of Trenton that pass by, what we do all the time. We say thank you for having us in your city and doing this. And you know, it's a good look for cannabis consumers. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and I'm all, and it's, you know, it's Marie Bonner got in touch with me through Facebook and said, oh, maybe, you know, I'm be back leaving in about a week, but maybe, you know, we can hook up and she gets some things for the Thanksgiving Day. I call it the Thanksgiving Giving Day. Looks good in print too, like we're all count Thanksgiving Giving Day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that giving twice. Anyway, but I'm also thinking with my friends at the former hippie tribe, they like stuff like this. And what I'm wondering is if can I talk some people into within their own little circle, everybody, hey, you know, we'll get this together, but we need somebody to drive it to Trenton and get it there, you know, like by 9 o'clock a.m. Yeah, because I'll be there at like 8 at the latest, probably even earlier. But if we could do that, because it just felt good. The very first one, Hugh Giordano, he was the first one in. He came in way early, and he had some bags of like some food non-perishables and things. But he was so happy to be there. And then he was off to his Thanksgiving, and he felt good about it. And that got me thinking, yeah, I'm going to feel real good after this. And I mean it when I tell people that I have never enjoyed Thanksgiving as much, ever. I mean, I enjoy it to be with the people and have the food, but in a different way after going to Trenton and pulling that off each year now, and then go back and, yeah, I'm going to be getting to my own dinner late sometimes. And, you know, it's got a slight amount of domestic capital price to pay for that. But, oh, that came out good too. I'm in my zone. Yeah, but I feel like freer to really enjoy my own without, I know everybody can't, you know, and it's you know, I just want to make sure, you know, and the thing is, Lefty, do we not promote this on purpose? Because it's a pop-up, or is that just my natural lazy tendencies? Because we can be successful without doing it. But every one, it's like, okay, here we are. You know, it's like spreading out the bird seed and the breadcrumbs, and we're the birds. You know, and
I guess I better make a flyer, huh?
Well, I would feel more comfortable, but still, the idea when the first bird comes, to use my backyard metaphor, I love that. You know, once I put out the new bird seeds, they don't come right back. You know, and I whistle while I'm doing it, so I sound like one of them. I mean, I'm doing the best I can. But in Trenton, the phones come out. You mean it's all free? Yeah. How much can I take? What you need, you know? And you know, but don't, you know, be smart. Nobody ever abuses that though. And like I always say, the one woman, she was so such a sympathetic figure. She's so happy, and she went right for to clean the socks. And there was like new socks, bundled up, not, you know, like rolled up in a ball, you know, real cool.
Yeah.
And when she looked up so sweetly and said to, I forget who it was. It might have been me because I answered. You know how I am, though. I'll answer anyway. How many can I take? You know, and she had like a pair, and she was looking, and it was, she wanted to make sure she wasn't going to assume, and I really appreciated that. And it's like, well, however many feet you have at your house times, and you know, times 3 or 4, whatever you want. You know, make sure you have enough, and that felt good. So, you know, I'll be hopefully able to talk some people into, you know, yeah, you might not have a lot or a couple things, but you know, it's going to be another winter. Everybody's, you know, if you get out winter clothes or things, or sweatshirts that aren't, you know, if you don't have a walk-in closet or something to have everything all the time, There's stuff I haven't worn in a couple of
How
years.
many years have you been doing this?
This would be the 9th. Feels like longer, but I had to actually check to make sure.
9?
Yeah, we started, it was 8 years ago, yeah. So it was 17, yeah, 2017.
And you do it every year.
Yeah, well, every year since. You know what it is we used to quit when we first started out doing it every Thursday, and we ended at the end of October.
Uh-huh.
And then we started doing I think, yeah, it might have been the first year that we were just going for Thursday, because we had three years of every Thursday. That's too grueling. I mean, that was like that was hard. I would miss like 2. I think Lefty had almost perfect attendance, if not perfect. But yeah, it's been a couple hundred times, and it's not lost on people in Trenton. I mean, you know, sometimes when people come by, oh, you talk about years ago, and you think they'd be coming out less like a pop-up, you know. Yeah, we've been telling people flyers would be pretty good. What do you do with the flyers, though? You just got to stand there and hand them out, or you go to places like in close proximity where they might put flyers on like at a place where you eat or get coffee or whatever.
Well,
you know. I've never.
Well, what do you want the flyers to say first? That's your first question. What is the goal of the flyer? What is the
To let people know that there's going to be what we do. However you want to characterize that. But it's not just food. It's a lot of it's well, for one, the coalition has put up $200 each year for the last several years, and Kathy goes to the dollar store. Now it's the $1.25 store.
Yeah.
Ken's going to need a little more money this year because it's a $1.25 store. Come on, Ken, $2.50.
Yeah.
And gets the health hygiene item, personal hygiene, and it, like shampoo, toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, feminine hygiene products, and bags them up in the larger little clear Ziploc bag here, and puts them out. And people really seem to like that, because
Here's an idea for you. Here's an idea for you. Whoever does that, what they should do is reach out to the dentists in the area and get the names of the sales reps that come into the dentist's office, the vendors. You know how when you go to the dentist, you get the little kit. And if you could get in contact and in a relationship with, any of these vendors, you can get them all to donate. These, they got a lot of their marketing money to spend.
Somebody did. It reminds me of one of them. Somebody had, I think it was Wednesday, brought in, and a whole lot of the motel size shampoos.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's like a representative, a sample size. So who stands to gain some goodwill at what company, if we're going to be doing that, it seems like, and the fact that not everything gets taken, but the rest of Lefty, where's the rest go specifically? I know it's in Trenton. I don't want to say the food pantry or whatever, but where is that exactly taken? I don't get to go sometimes because
usually it's Perry Street in Trenton.
Yeah, but because the first time I did that the first year, and there was stuff that they wouldn't take at the food pantry. And on my way out, somebody going into the food pantry was like, "What do you got? What's that?" "No, look," you know. And he wanted some of that, so I just went and left it right there, and went back and sat in my car for a minute and saw, yeah, they're going to pick it up there. So I found it kind of ironic. They didn't want to give it away, but that's not their responsibility, what's left out there specifically.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how they felt about that, but it just seemed to work out good. None of it, it all gets to where somebody can use it, and it could be an easier way for me to try to make sure there's stuff to give away, because it's not the kind of thing I'm very good at doing. But if I can make it a good idea to somebody else, like within a group that has the hippie tribe, they're not the hippie tribe anymore because they had that legal problem with, apparently was illegal to be doing what they were doing. Who knew?
You're good at writing letters, though.
Yeah,
That's all you need. You need a good letter writer.
Well, the people there, though, they have a way of staying in touch. When that all went down, everybody was like, well, part of the fact is the communal feeling we have, there. We don't want to lose it. So the online presence became till we reunite, meaning, okay, we're not the hippie tribe anymore because we've been disbanded, but they're very in touch still, and the core is probably going to think it's a good idea because we all agree that doing things like this is a good view for cannabis consumers. Actually, cannabis consumers are who you want as your neighbors,
Yeah.
and just doing the simple things like that. So I'm hoping, I think maybe we'll get enough. And one more thing then, Lefty, is if we could do it in front of the State House with just a little extra, I could bring more cables, and with nobody walking in and out of there, we could cover the cord where it crosses the one walkway, on its way further up. But I'm only thinking that not just because of the visual representation. We're allowed back in front of the State House. We haven't been in front of the State House with any of these Thanksgivings. They've all been at the annex. Now at the annex, when we lay stuff out, it's like on tarps or something on the grass. Has to be on grass because there's not enough sidewalk. And then where there is sidewalk, it's so there, it's all nice concrete plaza, It'd just be easier and more open for people, and spread out a little more, as opposed to how do you get this on piles of clothes. It turns out to be almost got to be like straightening things up as you go, like you work in a store where people put stuff back in the wrong place or something.
Yeah, I agree. We have a battery, so we can use the battery for that day. We don't need the extension cords.
Oh, awesome. So then could you see if can you change that permit to in front of State House instead of the annex?
I'll call and ask, and
yeah.
But I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think it's.
I don't think it should matter. I don't. If we didn't get a permit at all, it's Thanksgiving, Yeah. But the having the permit and that 1 in 100 chance that a detractor didn't like us doing that because they didn't think cannabis consumers were so nice.
Do we have any update about what happened today? I know they reconvened at Congress.
No vote yet. No vote that I've heard. But yeah, there's a vote scheduled though. Yeah.
What's the scheduled date? I'm not finding.
Oh, I think it was today. It was supposed to be.
No, they weren't voting today.
Well, then maybe it was changed, but that's what I was looking for.
No, they were not scheduled to vote again today.
Well, there's not. I can't see anything changing anyway. Of course, which begs the question: well, when the hell will this end?
Okay.
I have, this is,
I mean, because that just puts the brakes on everything else,
yeah. I have a bit of a conundrum. Uh,
What's a
that
conundrum?
it's hold on. You weren't saying that to me, were you? What?
Our
I
podcast.
don't know what you mean by it's Friday.
Oh,
Okay.
the vote.
A
The
conundrum
vote is going to be
technical
Friday.
word.
We have it here. Special.
Oh,
Just in.
Okay.
Well, my
Just
Thank
in.
you, Kathy.
conundrum
Thank you, Kathy Sue
is I gotta
says.
go.
Oh,
So
yeah. Lefty said, Jim, stop being a jerk. Kathy's got information you don't. Is that right?
is that
Oh,
true?
fuck you, Lefty.
Is that true?
Is what true?
I have to make a hard stop at 5:30, so I want to thank Mad Hatter for having us. I want to thank CMMNJ, UFCW, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, and SativaCross.org.
Okay, and next week I think we'll be having Mike Robinson on again.
Good. Good.
Okay, he's got a whole lot to say. He's got Hemi Paresis right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
You saw
Yeah.
the picture, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard
so
to,
that'll
it's
be
hard
good,
to
and
keep
then
up. Yeah,
and then we'll have Kenny Sobel will follow him, and then we can learn a little bit more about what's going on with Ryan's Law.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because he gave me a whole wealth of information, but it's better to hear from him
Yeah.
That's
because I don't
great.
get something wrong.
Thanks, everybody. Our
Okay.
list. Here's our list. It begins with Sabina. I'm sorry. It begins with Cheryl Miller. Sabina Rose. Diane Ripatella. Gracie. Cindy May. Marie. Jack. Joan. Randy. Holly Connolly. Bill Buckman. Chad. Jeremy. Colette. Matt. Troy. Russ. Roger Barber. Jay Oleto. Ella Bagelman. Hattie Koshel. Jackie Rickert. Anthony. Jake. Armando Fernandez. Felicia. Lynn Platshorn. Dan. Sean McKay. Joyce Fortini. Lori McBride. Frank. Brian Cuprian. Flo. Carl. Thorne Peters. Frank. Lorraine. Terry Harris. Charlotte Figge. Cher Ford McCullough. Jay Bird Brennan. Michael Dillon. Marley Sheen. Colette Carroll. Brendan. Red Blazer. Rico Valderrama. Lulu. Becky. Wanda. Chip. Paul Campano. Lisa Di Gregoria. Marcus. Gary Sage. Julia. Wayne Barini. Waxy Brown. Joe Marie Castellano. Jeff Oakes.
This concludes our podcast.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you Sunday for Cannabis Church, and then we'll see you back here next week on Tuesday.
Okay.
Good
Have
night,
a great
everybody.
weekend,
Have a good
everyone.
weekend.
See ya.